Fans, hope you guys are doing well. It is Wednesday. Normally I do Facebook Lives on Friday. Let me get the microphone over here. But, we're going to kind of do something a little bit different today. And there's a reason, because I have something going on Friday, which is actually what we're going to be talking about today. And that is networking and why sometimes networking isn't the best. And especially what I tend to call business card marathons or something, those kind of things. So let me get my notes here. Not a huge fan of this, what we call traditional networking, going to these events. I've done it many times over the years, but I wanted to go through some pros and cons today, offer some different tips, things that I've kind of come across. First of all, however, if you haven't signed up for my end of year session that we're doing tomorrow, and we're going to go through what numbers you need to hit, how many leads you need, and then some of the trends that are going on in digital marketing and the different pieces you need to have in place in order to really just crush it next year. That webinar is tomorrow. So I'm going to put a link in the chat here. I'll post that in here. And then I'll also put it in the comments below if you're watching this after the fact. So make sure that you jump on that webinar. It's going to be good. It's going to be, we're going to get your entire plan kind of set out for next year so that you can really kick some butt. Second of all, if you're a DIY kind of person, I want to let you know about Red Canoe Elite. It's a membership area that we have on our website that has over 100 videos, 60, probably 70 of them specifically around WordPress, around SEO. But there's some other things out there, some webinars that we've done in the past, some specific training, a lot of how-tos, a lot of things out there. It's redcanoemedia.com/elite. Check that out. We're going to do 20% off until December 19th. So if you want to know more about that, check the link below. Okay, let's talk about traditional networking. As I said, the business card marathon is what I typically tend to call this thing. Some of the cons. The first one really is it's just a slow burn. It's a slow, long process. And if you have your business to a point where kind of everything's systematized and you have people in place to do these different things and you have time to go to these things and do them over and over again, not necessarily a con, I guess, but it is important to know that you can't go, hand out 30, 40 business cards, go back to your office and expect the phone to start ringing. Typically doesn't work that way. If it did, a lot of people would be doing it, right? Another thing is competition with other businesses. Now this you really can't avoid and isn't, again, necessarily a con, but typically the same kind of businesses and same kind of business owners go to these networking events. So you might, run into a lot of competitors, which, dilutes your ability to kind of network when the same potential client or somebody else at the event is getting bombarded by 4 or 5 other people in the same industry. It makes it a little bit tougher to stand out, that kind of thing. Introverts have a hard time. So if you're an introvert, you're going to have a rough time forcing yourself to go to these events and then walk up and start talking to people, walk up and kind of butt in the middle of conversations. And surprisingly, I was an introvert for most of my, I'd say up through high school. I just really didn't talk to anybody. Now I'd say I'm more outgoing, but still have a tough time kind of inserting myself into conversations, especially with people that I don't know. Who's this guy? Why is he standing there? That's always a little kind of weird. So introverts, a little tougher time with some of the things that are going on in their life. I'm going to check the comments, make sure if anybody's saying anything, I don't miss it. All right. Another thing is just going to the wrong groups or joining the wrong kind of thing. It's not a good fit for you. Maybe it's that there are 5 other competitors already at that networking event, or maybe it's a B2B when you're B2C. There are some times when you just get into the wrong groups. Maybe your personalities for some reason just don't work, especially maybe with the people that are running the event or something. So that's another thing that could be part of it. Another thing is expense. And I mean this in 2 ways. First of all, some events cost to get into. And then there's also the expense of driving to the event and driving back from the event. Gas money. Time is another big one. You have to look at this as an investment, and that takes time. That takes money, potentially money out of your pocket, although it could also turn into money into your pocket. So, you got to play that game a little bit. Is it worth it to drive an hour to an hour-long event and then drive an hour back? That's 3 hours. Is that the best use of your time? That's something that you definitely need to consider when going to networking events. Some groups force you to bring referrals. So I don't think this is the case as much as it used to be. But there are groups out there that if you don't bring so many referrals or refer to other people in your little group there, you can get reprimanded and get kicked out, which is fine. I understand the spirit of having a group and referring to each other and kind of building that thing. But most of us belong to more than one group, so there might be somebody that's a better referral somewhere else when you don't want to refer to the wrong person that isn't a good fit. Maybe it's not the right person in the right seat on the right bus for that particular situation. So, sometimes that's something you need to consider as well. So, some pros. The biggest pro, obviously, is building relationships. Again, slow burn, but if you continually go to the same type of events, you're probably going to build some really good relationships, which can turn into some nice referrals. It really kind of depends on how much effort you want to put into it, how much effort you get out of it. The more you invest, the more you get out, obviously. Networking events are good for businesses that maybe have low margins, and you need to constantly be in front of people, or you have a high volume. You have to kind of run a high volume in order to stay cash flow positive. These kind of events are great for those kind of people where they can get out and really kind of hammer it and just be everywhere all the time. And just by that fact, people get referrals in that way. If that's kind of your situation, then, networking can be a really good thing for you. Increased branding exposure. I say this is very similar to what I was just saying. Just being out there all the time, letting everybody know, showing up to events with a embroidered thing with your logo on it, and just kind of always being there. You're going to get increased branding exposure. Sometimes you can actually sponsor events and maybe have your logo show up when somebody walks in the door. You maybe even get a couple minutes up front, those kind of things. So there are advantages there. Of course, there is an expense typically for those as well. Another pro, socializing, for the people that are more extroverts and really the social butterflies. These events are great. If that's your personality, then going to these things is just part of what you love and what you enjoy doing. So that's another increased exposure, a benefit for you if you like those things. I can't really speak to it. Not terribly excited about them. So, opportunity to practice your elevator pitch. So this is a great one. If you are working on your elevator pitch and, okay, so tell me what you do. These events are great for that because you might go through 20, 30, 40 people and you could tweak it every time and see how they react and kind of fine tune that elevator pitch. Great opportunity to do that, which is always good. So those are some of the pros and cons. I'm sure there's others out there. These are some of the ones that I just kind of wrote down, wanted to share with you today. And what I'd like to do next is just talk about what to do instead of going to these different things. And this might work for you, it might not. What I like to do, and what I've been told by my coach and a couple other people, is to pick one or two or maybe three networking events each month, especially ones that focus on education. So not business card marathons where it's just meet as many people as you can, but events where maybe there's a networking component to it, but there's also a huge education piece. So you're learning, there's a speaker, or there's some sort of topic or theme around each event that basically you get information from to help build your business. I belong to two of these here in St. Louis. One's called the Business Development Team, and it is people from all kinds of industries that come together to learn specifically about a specific topic every month. Could be digital marketing one month. It could be finance the next month, and it could be insurance one month, and it could be project management. It could be a lot of different things. We bring a lot of different speakers in so that people learn all kinds of things about their business. But these education-focused groups are great. Another one I belong to is called Experts for Entrepreneurs. This particular event has 3 speakers, and they get 15 minutes each, and they do 3 totally different topics. So you might learn about finance and legal and health all in one short kind of little morning session. So, these are great because there's always something you can pick up from all these different speakers, which is just great. Also, consider events that cost money. Even events that cost that have memberships is even better. This does a couple things. First of all, it filters out the looky-loos, right? Filters out those business owners that are just out there to try to hand out as many cards as they can, just to kind of grind through the system. Filters them out. It also filters out the non-serious business owners, and maybe this is the same group, but people that are either self-promotional or they're tire kickers, or they're not interested in growing their business. They just kind of want to keep it the same and just keep, getting out there. And also, I guess I could put in there the social butterflies that maybe just want to get out and network and ultimately waste some of your time. Maybe that's a little harsh to say, but that could be it. If you're going to these events, you're trying to build your business, right? So you want to put the effort towards the best possible return for you, right? So last thing, and this is the reason I'm not doing Facebook Live on Friday this week, is because I'm going to be attending a mastermind group. And my particular mastermind group is, I think it's seven or 8 business owners from all kinds of industries. But we get together once a month on the second Friday, and everybody kind of brings their big rocks that they're working on and updates the group on what those are. And then the group helps that particular person, here are ideas to help break those rocks down. Here are ideas. Here are things that I've done to get past that point. And moral support is fantastic from the mastermind group as well. But it's a great opportunity to meet with folks that are all like-minded. They're all trying to grow their business, and they're all focused in the right direction. I know of one called EO, Expert Entrepreneur Online, maybe. I'm not sure what it stands for. But that particular group costs to get into. It has standards, so you have to be doing a minimum amount of money per year to even get into the group. And then there's a great educational piece to those as well. Referrals are a little bit higher quality from them. So these different kind of groups are great to get into if you're in the mindset of, I really want to grow my business this year. So lastly, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Did I miss a major pro or con? Is there some reason that you really enjoy networking that maybe I didn't go over? Is there some particular group that you really like to go to and has a good educational piece, or has something else that is the reason that you like to go? I'd love to hear what those are. Leave them down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to us on Facebook, facebook.com/Red Canoe Media. If you're on YouTube, we're on the YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe there. And listen, have a great day, and we'll be back on schedule next week on Friday. I will see you then. See ya.